for everybody in the world. For sure, that's true. It's now been going down. Oil prices have been going down for a month and a half.
He inherited energy independence, and we were a net exporter of energy, and now he's begging OPEC.
He inherited an economic downturn bordering on catastrophe.
He inherited,
at times like that, the price of oil tends to go way down. That's
you need to focus.
Sure true.
Did he or did he not? Did he or did he not inherit? Well, 3 vaccines and monoclonal antibodies. Did he also inherit energy independence? And did he inherit that we were a net exporter of energy? And did he not? And did he cut energy production by 40%? The answer is yes.
No, he did not cut energy production by 40%. Energy production fell because we were in an economic catastrophic downturn.
He fired Keystone XL pipeline workers. He rescinded Anwar and exploration
Pipeline
in other
wasn't
places.
built yet, Sean. That had no effect on energy production. Keystone Pipeline was not built.
Then why is he begging OPEC?
Production in the United
Donald
States
Trump didn't beg OPEC. Why is he begging OPEC?
He's not begging OPEC. He convinced OPEC, and OPEC is increasing their production in the month of January. Why do you call that begging?
They keep rejecting him. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. He shut down
increasing production.
He dramatically shut down energy production in this country.
That? Sean, I thought you were. You're all over the map here. You were saying you didn't like to pay high gas prices. I told you gas prices are going down, and Biden convinced OPEC to increase production. And then you said, why is he asking them to increase production?
Professor of economics at the prestigious Booth Institute in Chicago. Okay.
Now, if you were wondering why Hannity doesn't bring too many Democrats onto his show, this is why. This is Austin Goolsbee, former chair of the Council of Economic Advisors under Obama and nightmare fuel for Sean Hannity, swatting down the right-wing host's contradictory and just outright wrong claims one by one. And look, I'm not saying that Goolsbee won't be invited back on. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. One of Hannity's completely baseless claims is that somehow Biden just cut energy production by 40% because, I don't know, he felt like it. As if Biden didn't inherit an economy in shambles, where no one left their house for, 9 months, and their demand for gas plummeted. Does Hannity not know that we're in the middle of the worst pandemic in history? Someone should ask him if he thinks that there's any correlation between reduced energy production and an economy that was just completely shut down. Shut down, by the way, thanks to the gross mismanagement of the former Republican president. Maybe while Hannity was acting as a shadow advisor for Trump, he could have told him that pretending a worldwide pandemic was a hoax would probably not work out too well for him. And as if that wasn't embarrassing enough, Hannity goes on to blame the Keystone XL pipeline, which is rich considering Keystone wasn't even built yet. In fact, TC Energy had already suspended construction in January 2021 when Biden revoked a key cross-border presidential permit, meaning this pipeline hadn't gone anywhere prior to that. And by the way, just as an aside, I know Republicans like to wail about the thousands of jobs lost when Keystone was terminated. The State Department estimated that full-time permanent jobs weren't so much thousands as 50. 35 permanent employees and 15 temporary contractors. That's it. So yeah, I think the jobs market will recover. Hannity even slams Biden for begging OPEC to increase production, but unless OPEC increases production, then prices will stay high. In other words, Hannity is complaining that gas prices are high and then complaining that Biden's taking steps to reduce gas prices. It's almost like, and bear with me on this one, he's a hack who got caught complaining for the sake of complaining. What Biden actually did was release 50 million barrels of oil from U.S. strategic reserves in conjunction with China, Japan, India, South Korea, and the UK. And what did the move to release oil from the U.S. strategic reserves do? It sent prices down, which is ostensibly what Sean Hannity wanted if his logic was in any way coherent. And by the way, if Hannity thinks that begging OPEC is disqualifying, I've got some bad news for him about his deity. Here's Trump begging OPEC to increase supply in 2018 and again in 2019. And it's so weird because I've checked, but I just can't seem to find the clip of Hannity back then whining that a US president had to beg OPEC to ramp up oil production. Weird, huh? And not for nothing, but if these Republicans like Sean Hannity were actually fed up with having to constantly beg OPEC to stabilize gas prices here in the US, You'd think that they'd actually be in favor of ending our reliance on oil. And yet the biggest obstacle to switching to renewables, which would actually end that reliance, are Republicans. And so year after year they whine about gas prices over and over and over again. We start wars in the Middle East, send American kids to die, dump trillions of dollars into these doomed ventures, all over this finite resource when there is an alternative right in front of us. And it's cheaper and better for the environment and would make us completely energy independent. But because oil and gas companies bought out the GOP, and because right-wing media like Sean Hannity is a propagandist for that party, he'll just continue to shill for the same resources that he just spent an entire segment whining about. How's that for some airtight logic? And look, I could go on, but the facts here speak for themselves, and Goolsbee already embarrassed Hannity enough. But the broader point here is this: while Hannity got caught looking like an absolute fool, it likely won't happen again because that's how right-wing media operates. It is a closed-loop ecosystem. The right relies on insulating its viewers from reality. And so while they slipped up in this instance because it turned out that Goolsbee was a lot more adept than they'd anticipated, this is the outlier. Most of Fox's audience won't ever know the truth, not just about oil, but on COVID, on vaccines, on the economy, on any element of politics, because A, there are rarely any honest players appearing on these networks, and B, the people who do appear on these networks have zero qualms about lying straight to their audience faces. It is a perfect storm of disinformation. So enjoy this momentary, rare instance where a Fox host was hit with a dose of reality on his own show, because after this, it'll be back to Dan Bongino and Hannity wailing about how somehow it's Biden's fault that there were food shortages in 2011 in Japan after the Fukushima nuclear meltdown. And if you watch Fox, let this be a lesson to you that just like Hannity was lying in this clip, he does the exact same thing on a nightly basis. The only difference is that he doesn't get caught. To see more videos like this, click the subscribe button right here on this screen. And if you want to support my work, subscribe to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. I cover the most important stories each week, and my guest is always one of the top political figures, including Vice President Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Nancy Pelosi, Katie Porter, Cory Booker, and so many more. The podcast link is also right here on this screen, so give it a listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.